In this tutorial we are going to learn how to use the basics of multisim. So the first step is to open. Once you open the multisim software, this is going to be the file that is going to open before you. It's called design. So how to add different components to it. So we are going to start by adding a ground. Every simple circuit needs a ground, so we are going to go here. This is going to open the component libraries. So we are going to go and look for source. We can type down here and search. So I'm going to do a ground. There are different grounds. The ones we are going to use is the simple ground. So it comes the symbol here. And then you say OK, it's going to bring you here, and with your mouse you can move it all over and decide where to place it. So I'm just going to place it there. So my ground stays there. Now I need to add a power source. So in order to add a power source, I'm already in the sources. In the group source, I'm going to go into the family of sources, and then I need a voltage source. So I'm going to go to voltage sources here, and I need a DC voltage source. So if it is too confusing to do it like this, you can type down here DC source, and you have to spell it correctly. Source. And nothing comes out because my family is not power source. So I have to be here, DC power source. So you see it came out. So make sure we are in the power source. So you click on that one. This is the symbol. You say OK, and again you can drag it anywhere. So I'm just gonna put it there. Why a DC power source? Because it's a DC class, so that's why we have it with a DC source. Now we need to add some components. The components, we are going to go into resistors. Resistors are going to be all the components that we are going to be using for the majority of these simulations. So resistors are located in the source called basic, and then from here we have all these different electronic components that are under the basic. We select the resistors, and then this is the symbol for a resistor. For the resistor, we are going to change the value if we want. Let's say I want a 5 kilo ohm value. Okay, so I just type it there and I say OK, and I get a resistor there, and it keeps giving me back. I'm going to add three resistors so that we can see how this works. And I'm just typing the value of the resistors. Okay, so I'm finished. I'm gonna say OK, so I close that. Now I'm going to use my mouse to connect all the components. I'm going to, if I want to rotate this resistors, I'm going to make a right click. The option is going to, the menu option is going to open. So I'm going to say rotate 90 degrees, and that's it. It's rotated so I can connect. Now with my mouse, my left, I'm going to make a left click. And it's going to open the wires. So I'm just going to do another click right there when it connects, and it's wire. Now another left click, I go, and those are connected. Another left click, and if you see, I can follow the grids, so my wires look all nice and clean. And right here you see there is a connection right there. I'm just make another left click, and I continue doing this until I have closed my circuit right here. Okay, it doesn't want to stay. You have to be careful so it stays there. Okay, and then you can make it look nicer. Then you have to connect the ground, because a power voltage source doesn't mean anything. It doesn't have a reference. So in this case, we said we are referencing to the ground. So it's 12 volts above this ground, which is 0. So now you have a basic circuit here. Don't worry about analyzing it. We are going to learn that in the class. Now we are just learning how to use the software. Okay, so now I want to make some measurements, right? So I'm going to, all these sections right here are the probes that are going to help me to make those measurements. So let's say I want to measure voltage. So I click on this one, I get a probe, and I'm going to locate it right here. So this probe is going to measure the voltage across this resistor with respect to the ground. Okay, I don't need this, so I can make a right click and say remove that. I can do a double click here, so my reference window open, and I can call this B2. I want to call it something meaningful so I know what it refers to. I'm just going to say apply. Okay. In this case, it's going to mean, oops, hold on. It's going to mean that it is the voltage across this resistor, which happens to be labeled as R2. Likewise, if I want to measure the current here, I want to measure the current from the source. So I'm going to connect that my current probe. Again, I can get rid of this yellow box by clicking there. Double click opens and I can relabel it. So here I can call it I total. Okay. So I said apply and OK. And I can put the probes across any place I like to have the measurements. For the simplicity of the simulation, I'm just going to put them right there. Now, how to simulate. The way you're going to simulate is as follows. You're going to come here with a simulate. You're going to go and analyze in simulation. We are going to do a DC operating point because we only want the values. And then from here, we are going to go and select here only the probes because that's what we are interested in. And we only have 2 probes and they are labeled correctly. Okay? So we are going to say run. And once we run it, it's going to give us the values that the voltage across the resistor has and the current that is coming from the source. We can toggle it here so we have a white background. Once we have it here for a lab report, we can export it into an Excel. It's going to create, we say OK, and what it does is going to create an Excel sheet where you have all your data there. Also for your labs, what you can do is, we can close that, you can do a screen, a capture of your circuit that you did, or you can save the file, save as, or export the templates to have the nice circuit that you have here. And that concludes our tutorial of how to use Simulink.